Okay, YouTubers, this is YouTube Prisoner 35784 reporting the date, the 20th of October 2021. And today I'm showing you some clips from this Gigapan I've just put up. And this is an Apollo image. This is AS08 12 2213. Now that means Apollo 8, magazine 12, and image 2213. This has been enhanced. It's had enhanced contrast added, also a little bit of color filtering, just to make this much easier to see, because when you see the raw image, it's pretty bleached out, as most of these moon images are. They're a bit overexposed. Basically, the surface of the moon is very reflective and it's very hard to take photos of, and they need to be processed for you to actually see the real detail in the images and take away some of the glare, okay? And that's what I've done here, but I will show you the raw image in a minute. Now I'm going to show you straight away what I found. Now this is what I found. This is really cool. We have a very strange, almost rectangular shaped so-called crater here with an object in it which at first glance looks like a rock, but it's not. This is absolutely huge. Now how large is this crater? I would say probably about 1,000 or 2,000 feet across, probably nearer 2,000, okay, because this image is taken from a height of about 50 miles, okay, somewhere around the 50-mile mark, as the Apollo 8 mission flew around the moon, mapping and taking photographs of the surface. We got the horizon up here. This is the edge of the moon, the top edge, okay, so that's the horizon there. So that orientates the image. So I've rotated the image to the right 45 degrees, or about that. And when you look at this crater, because we're seeing it from an oblique angle, in other words, we're looking across and down, not just straight down at it, you can actually see things sticking up out of the craters, okay? This is the key to looking at things on the moon. It's much easier to work out what you're looking at if you look at these things at the right angle from the right sort of projection, okay? And this, I think, is not just a rock. This is an actual structure. And we have a large, almost dome-shaped kind of structure here. And there is actually, you can make out, there's a big kind of pipe coming out of it, which goes into the ground here, into the base of the crater. There's a kind of structure there. And there's some weird details around it as well. I've got an enhancement of it here, which I'm going to show you up here. And what I've done here is I've cranked up the contrast a bit more, and I've sharpened it a bit to bring out some of these details, okay? And you can see, if I go back a bit like that and use the magnifier, if you don't have the hover zoom magnifier, I do recommend it. You can get it from multiple browsers, okay? And you can set the zoom level to what you want. Now, this is the main structure, but you can actually see this is a very large pipe like thing coming out. There's parts coming off this pipe. There's a bit sticking up there, almost like a support thing there. The pipe comes round to here. There's another support structure here, and the pipe goes into this structure here, which is almost a sort of dome or roundish shape in the middle, and it seems to go into the actual ground at the base of this fake crater. And I'm saying it's a fake crater because it's a very unusual shape. It's actually rectangular in shape, but it's got rounded corners like here, then a straight edge, then a rounded corner, straight edge, rounded corner, and an almost straight edge there. So I don't think this is a normal crater. I think it's made to look like a crater at a glance. I think this is some kind of mining structure, and this is what I'm calling the lunar pump station, okay, because it has a very large pipe coming out of it here. All right, it may not be a pump station, it may be something else, it may be doing something else, I don't know, but that's what I'm calling it, because it has a big pipes coming out of it, and it seems to have one coming out of the other side here as well, going into the ground just here. You can just see one there. So it's got structures coming out of it which go in here, right? If I zoom in, I have sharpened this a bit, so you've got a bit of detail here. If you get too close, there we are, it doesn't look that great if you go right in really close, but you can see that goes in to here, and this comes up and round, and there's another one on this side. You can see it comes down to here and joins to here. Here's that clip, and I'm just going to point those things out for you. Okay, and it's pretty obvious when you actually realise that there's a big pipe sticking out the side of it. It's pretty obvious that this thing here is not just some kind of meteor or boulder. I actually think it comes round like this. There's a part there, comes round to there, and then we have this joined here. It's very thick pipe-like structure with these details on it, right, which comes down to here and then seems to join to this thing here, right. There's like a support structure here with legs here coming across, and there's another one coming around to here with the part there, okay, and it seems to come right down actually into here. So there's like another pipe coming off of that into the ground here. There's the bottom part of the larger pipe, comes to there, and that's what I'm seeing. And there's lots of kind of smaller things here. This may be a structure, this bright object here, and there's something weird going on here with a pipe-like thing coming out of it, just here. And obviously we've got the edge of the wannabe crater with some weird structures on the side of it here. Okay, but look at this. Look at the edge of this. There's no way this crater is normal, because we got the edge of it coming here, and then we got a straight edge here, and an almost straight edge here. All right. We got a straight edge there, which then curves to there. And then we've got the back part here, okay? And there's some weird stuff going on here as well. So what I would recommend is if you check out the links in the description below and check out the link to this GigaPan and have a look yourself, because there's tons of stuff in here. Absolutely loads and loads of stuff to see. I'm only showing you the most obvious large things here. There's lots of smaller things that look like structures in some of these craters and around some of these craters. There's also a lot of image damage to this as well, which I'll show you in a minute. The main one is here, right, which is center, sort of center right of the image, slightly upper center right there. And if you go up to the right corner, up towards the corner here, there's another one. Now this is a bit further away and it's very dark. So what I did is I took a clip of this and I brightened it up and I put it up here. And in this one you can see that there's a big box-like structure here, which looks like it's dilapidated and broken. And you can actually see a straight edge here and a kind of right angle there. You can actually see the edge of this thing here, the back edge, where it seems to be joined to the back of the crater. The crater comes round, and then this thing is like if you imagine like a really massive box or rectangular structure that's been hit or damaged, and the front wall or part of the structure has fallen away, and you can see inside it, this dark area here is inside the structure. And there's loads of debris in front of it here. So this looks like it's fallen down or been hit by something. But we've got a very straight edge here and a very large box-like structure to it, which is hollow and damaged. You can actually see into it. Okay, I'll show you in here. I've got it in here. I'll just point out those things to you. This is a bit brighter, so you should be able to see this better. But you can actually see, let's do that again. You can actually see this edge just here. And the structure comes to there. And it sticks out like this. I think this is the edge of one edge of the structure. And this is one of the walls or edges that's all kind of broken. And there's the top. This is the top here. And this is the edge, another edge, but this part has been smashed in or exploded out. And there's loads of weird little things down here which look like debris in this area, okay? And it's attached to the edge of this thing. And there are some details here which look like structures. And obviously the edge of the crater comes round like this. Okay? There's something there. And that's the actual crater. So that to me is artificial. I mean, I don't see how that can be anything other than an artificial structure, because we have a rectangular object in a crater and it looks like it's been hit by something and it's smashed up. But most of it's still there. Okay? You can actually see these angles here. The actual structure itself is like this. There's a part there and some detail at the bottom, and it comes to there, and there's another thing there, and it kind of joins to this here, right? And that's the smashed out part. The dark section in the middle is where it's been blown out. You can't tell me that's just some random meteor or just a double crater kind of thing going on, or a lava tube. You don't have rectangular lava tubes, okay? So if anyone comes along and says that, you're out of here, right? Don't even tempt me, right? And I really don't see how this thing can be just some random rock or meteor or lava tube or something like that either. This is way too complex. You've got a complex structure and multiple structures nearby and a pipe coming out of this thing, okay? Absolutely insane. Let me just get rid of all those for you. And you can see all that stuff right there. All you have to do is take a clip. You may want to enhance it a bit more. I'm going to darken that a bit more for you, actually, to see if some of this pops out even more, because it's not as clear as it might be. There we are. Now you can really see that pipe coming out, and you can really see that there's some kind of support structure to it as well. And the pipe comes out like this, goes into there, and then down here. And there's this actually looks like a structure here now, and there's another one here, and the pipe goes into it. So I don't see how you could say that's just some kind of random rock, okay? Rocks generally aren't that big. I mean, if this is a rock, it's a bloody big rock. I mean, this I estimate to be a quarter of a mile wide, this crater, or something in that realm. A couple of thousand meters, maybe. Maybe only a couple of thousand feet. I don't know how big it is. If this is 50 miles away, let's look at the actual gigapan. We're going over the surface at about 50 to 60 miles, and then looking down and across the moon's surface in this direction. Okay, and this is still very large. So I would say this is possibly about half a mile wide, this crater here. I don't know. It's very, very large indeed. So this thing is hundreds and hundreds of feet high, probably 1,000 feet high, and probably 1,000 feet wide, I would imagine, just this part. And this is probably 2,000 or 3,000 feet. I don't know. But it's very, very large indeed. For it to be seen at this detail from that distance, it must be very, very large. Okay? And there's a whole bunch of other things in here. I'll quickly show you where to look. I've marked a lot of this stuff. There's a weird crater over here. Now, this has got like hairs and weird bits of crap on the image. Now, these are actually slides that were taken, okay? And they were scanned at very high resolution. And what you have, unfortunately, on the scanner, now this happens with all the Apollo images, whether they're scanned from the photos or whether they're scanned from the slides or negatives or whatever. Unfortunately, whoever did that job, and it wasn't just one person, whoever did those jobs back in the day, years ago, before they uploaded them to Flickr and whatever, they didn't clean the scanner. And what we have on almost every image are the same hairs and dead bugs and bits of paper, which are on the scanner. And because the scanner is scanning at a very high resolution, they come out on the image, obviously. They actually appear as if they're on the image. We got this thing here. That's a hair. Probably a human hair. It's there. But this, there's loads of these hairs all over the image, and scratches and bits of paper. I'll show you some of those in a minute. But this was weird because this actually looks like a dome. I don't think it is a dome. It's a crater, but what it has is a very clear dark triangle in it. Just there. I only just spotted this as I uploaded it. If I go back a bit, you can actually see a triangle right in the middle. Very, very strange. This is not a natural crater. You can see a clear, dark triangle in the middle of it there, which looks to be some kind of structure in the actual crater. Okay? It's very reflective, catching the sun. It may even be a dome, I don't know, but judging by the rest of it, the light's hitting the edge of the right edge of each crater mainly, and it seems to be catching on this one more. So this may not be made of normal regolith. This may actually be some other type of material here. Very strange. You can see that triangle. Now, I haven't done anything to this, but I did enhance the whole image. Obviously, I added contrast. It says here, the image has had minus 20% brightness and 25% contrast applied for better shape definition. Also, lightly applied color temperature correction. So basically, I added a color filter because the moon isn't black and white or grey. It's actually a sort of greeny sort of color. It's sort of grey, sort of greeny grey color, and that's the actual colour of the surface. It's got a greenish tint to it. There's loads of other things in here. I'll quickly show you some of them. I won't spend too long on this. There's some image damage here. You can see all these cracks. Okay, that's damage to the actual image itself. That's not from the actual scanner. That's damage to the actual slide. Okay, these black cracks. There's a dead bug here. Now this looks a bit like a structure, but it's not. If you notice, it's much, much brighter than all the other objects around it. And it has these legs coming out of it here. If I show you with the magnifier, this is a dead bug. Right, that's the body, or part of the body of a dead bug, and it's got a leg coming out here, and a leg coming out here. And there's another bit of the leg here, which is broken off, okay? You see these in a lot of these images, okay? Now, a lot of channels out there, the sort of more charlatan-like channels, would say, oh, this is a UFO or weird satellite or an alien satellite or something. No, it's not. It's a dead bug. These images were stored in basic cupboards. They weren't looked after very well. They're very old. They date right back to the 1960s. They were stacked in these sort of cabinets, and bugs and all sorts of things crawled in there and died. Also, the scanners were not cleaned properly. As I've been saying for many, many years, they never cleaned the scanners and wiped them over with a cloth properly. So there's human hairs, there's dead bugs, there's little shards of paper all over these things. And you often see the same shards of paper reappearing in the same set of images. If you go through all these images from Apollo 8, you'll find the same pieces of paper. This piece of paper appears in multiple ones, and it is often shown by people as a UFO because it shows up in different positions on each image, okay, as the image was taken off the scanner and then replaced by the next one as they were scanning them. So this will appear sometimes as a more greyish colour, but usually very bright white, almost rectangle. But that is a piece of paper, okay? That's what you get on scanners. If they're not cleaned, that's what you get, okay? I used to work with scanners all the time. I used to work in a print and sign making shop doing prints and stuff like that. I know these things. I used to have to clean them. These things need to be cleaned. And there's another weird crater here with a very dark kind of road or something coming out of it. Very strange, this one, just here. You can see, if I go back a bit, if you zoom in too far, it's hard to focus. It's best to go back a bit. You can actually see this really dark line here going into this one. But unfortunately, it's right on the edge. And here's another bit of paper, just there. Okay, that's paper. These are all over the place. There's loads up here as well, like little bits of paper, little shards of paper, and dead bugs up here. Even so, the images are dirty and damaged. They're still very high resolution. And these were scanned in at over 2,000 pixels per centimetre, okay? That's extremely high res. So the good quality images, they're taken on real cameras, on Hasselblad cameras, by actual people, not by robots like on Mars. So that's what we have here. We have a selection of dead bugs, shards of paper, some very interesting craters, and a giant dome-like structure with a pipe coming out of it, right there, and another one up here with a box-shaped rectangular ruin in it, just there. Okay, here's the actual raw image. It's pretty large. It's like 16,000 pixels, roughly square, and it's pretty large. And you can see that in the raw image really clearly. I mean, honestly, look at that. I mean, it's insane. It's just there, just sitting there, an almost rectangular crater, wannabe crater, with a dome and a pipe coming out of it. So I'm calling that, like I said, I'm calling it the lunar pump station. But there's loads of stuff in here. I've only shown you really the large stuff. I mean, you could spend all day looking at this image. Okay, there's tons of things. So, as I said, check all the links below. As always, I always provide links. You can download the original images here. If you come to the Gigapan page, come to the top and click on the NASA link there. That will take you to the page. So there we have it. And I would also recommend that you check out, if you haven't seen it already, I would recommend you check out this video here, Giant Moon Cylinder Found Lunar Buildings. This is one I uploaded a few days ago. This is actually something I found about 4 years ago, but I re-edited this and redid the video because it wasn't bright enough and not loud enough, so I remastered it. And I've also got a Gigapan of that, and that is insane. That is absolutely huge. Okay, the cylinder, which I also think is some kind of pumping station or mining facility. It's even got, if I show you on here, here it is. Now, this is insane. The amount of stuff in this image. We got buildings in craters here, right? And like this, which I showed in that video. But this is, I think, another sort of pump station type base, moon base, or mining structure. Okay, you can see the cylinder here. And this has also got pipes coming out of it here. Just here. That's a cylinder, right? That is not a normal structure or random rock. This is an intelligent structure, like the one I showed you in the previous crater, okay? And if you look around it, it's absolutely surrounded by structures. There's a square one here, right? You can check all this out yourself. There's loads and loads of it. I'm not going to go through all these again. But one thing I did notice is that there seems to be like a drainage stain or a bit of erosion here. There's the cylinder here, which comes round as well like that. That's the main cylinder there. And if you look below, there's a dark patch that goes into this crater. So at some point in the past, this was pumping water out, or liquid was coming out of this area and going into this crater, which it was draining into. Okay? You can actually see that there. You can actually see where that was draining into it. I'm in the enhanced one up here. I've marked it. I've darkened this up a bit more. You can see that stain or like a dark patch going into that crater. So there was some kind of liquid coming out of here at some point in the past, being pumped out. They were probably pumping out water from deep underground, which can then be split into oxygen and whatever, and used for power and breathe, life support, that kind of thing. Okay, that's probably what this was, a water pumping station. But it may have been a mining facility, and this is just some of the runoff. Who knows? But there's multiple structures in here as well, just here. You can see them there. Okay, so check that out, and also check out a video that Chris from Mars Anomalies just did, I think last night or this morning. He did one on this image as well. Check that out, it's really cool. He shows a lot of the other things. I only tend to show the larger things and the main objects. But that doesn't mean there isn't loads more to see, okay? That's always the case. I never show you everything. There isn't enough time to do that. I'm just showing you the larger, more obvious things, and I always leave plenty of other things for other people to find and mark, and you put the marker on here or whatever, and show as well, okay? So thanks for watching. Please give the thumbs up. I'll see you soon.